Empathy and humanitarian focus. The city of open doors. The rain fell softly over the stone streets of the old European city, turning the yellow lamplight into shimmering reflections across the pavement. Inside the mayor's office, Anna Keller stared at the newspaper headline spread across her desk. Dozens of families had arrived on the southern coast. By morning, the national government had asked cities nationwide to accept relocation groups. Anna leaned back in her chair. To her, the decision felt simple. She had spent years working with humanitarian organizations. She had seen photographs of bombed neighborhoods, children wrapped in blankets at border crossings, and families who had lost everything. "They're human beings," she said quietly to her deputy. "If we can help them rebuild their lives, we should." Her deputy hesitated. "No one disagrees with that," he said carefully, "but we need to think about the scale of this." Anna shook her head. "When people are suffering, hesitation becomes another form of refusal." Psychologists have long studied the role of empathy in political decision-making. People who score highly on empathic concern often experience a strong emotional response to others' suffering. For them, helping vulnerable groups, refugees, marginalized communities, the poor, is not just a policy preference. It feels like a moral obligation. In Anna's mind, refusing to open the city's doors would be a betrayal of the values she believed defined a civilized society. So she signed the order. The city would accept several thousand newcomers. At first, the decision seemed to inspire the best in people. Volunteers filled the train station when the first buses arrived. Teachers organized language classes. Churches and community groups collected clothes and food. Anna walked through the reception center one evening and watched children playing with donated soccer balls. For a moment, she felt certain she had done the right thing. "This," she told a journalist nearby, "is what humanity looks like." But cities are complicated organisms. They function through thousands of delicate balances: housing availability, school capacity, employment markets, and social trust. Within a year, those systems began to feel pressure. Rental prices climbed as demand increased. Schools struggled to accommodate students who spoke little of the local language. Police reports indicated rising tensions in several neighborhoods where cultural expectations collided. None of these problems was catastrophic in itself, but together they created a sense of unease among long-time residents. At a community meeting one evening, an elderly shop owner stood up and spoke. "We are not cruel people," he said. "We want to help others, but we also worry about whether our city can handle this." Anna listened from the front row. She understood the concern, yet she also remembered the images that had first moved her to act: the refugee camps, the frightened children, the families who had nowhere else to go. The debate that followed was not simply about economics or infrastructure. It was about two competing moral visions. One group argued that a prosperous society had a responsibility to extend compassion beyond its borders. The other believed that compassion had to be balanced with the protection of social stability and public trust. Neither side believed itself to be selfish or malicious. Each believed they were protecting something precious. Years later, Anna would often reflect on the decision. Some of the refugees had integrated successfully. They opened businesses, learned the language, and became part of the city's fabric. Others struggled. A small minority became involved in crime, which fueled political anger far beyond the actual numbers. The city had changed. Whether that change represented moral progress or social strain depended entirely on whom you asked. The deeper lesson was not about a single policy. It was about how empathy shapes human judgment. Empathy can inspire extraordinary acts of kindness and generosity. It can push societies to expand rights, reduce suffering, and protect the vulnerable. However, critics sometimes argue that empathy alone may overlook complex, long-term consequences if it is not balanced with other considerations such as social cohesion, institutional capacity, and risk management. The challenge for modern democracies is to balance compassion with sustainability, to care deeply about human suffering without ignoring the structural limits of the societies responding. Because when moral instincts collide, the debate rarely feels like a technical disagreement. It feels like a struggle over what kind of society people want to be.